guys, welcome back to the channel. Obviously it is the 2022 NRL off season, but there's still plenty of content coming out, whether it be for next year or the World Cup. World Cup predictions full preview coming tomorrow night. That'll be a premiere at 7 p.m. Friday, I'll be reacting to my 2022 ladder predictions. But today, being my birthday, I wanted to do a bit of a fun video. It's an interesting one, and the more I think about it, the teams, there's going to be 17 teams next year with the inclusion of the Dolphins. But look, I took a bit of inspiration from Nick from Australia for this video. It's his 2023 opening round, what he would like to see or what he would do if he was in charge of the NRL. I thought, why not? I want to do the same thing here. Bit of fun for me, fun video for everyone. Let's get straight into it. Starting off the season opener, obviously you want it to be an exciting game. And look, I think this new stadium of Allianz is fantastic. I think it's a great way to open the season. You had a Sydney grand final as well, so why not take it back to Sydney for the opener? I'm going to go with the Roosters versus the Melbourne Storm. Now, a few reasons for this. Craig Bellamy's last season as head coach. You're going to have a fully fit Ryan Pappenhausen. You're going to have that brand new stadium in Allianz, and you're probably going to sell it out. Probably more Roosters fans, to be honest, but a big season expected of them. You've got Brandon Smith going up against his old club, and then you've got Cameron Munster for the Storm, who's re-signed after a lot of talks of him leaving the club. So I think Roosters versus Storm, it's always a fantastic game of footy. Why not open the season with it? A lot of people probably think this could be the grand final next year. The Storm are very hard to get a read on going into 2023, but I think it'd be a great way to start the season. I think these reasons as well, and having it at Allianz rather than Amy Park, that new kind of venue, taking a brand new team there in the Melbourne Storm. They haven't played at Allianz, only the Rabbitohs have played, and the Sharks at Allianz Stadium. So I think it'll be a great season opener. Have Roosters versus Storm at Allianz. You guessed it, they scrapped the 6 p.m. Friday game. It is now a 7:30 game. I'm going to go with the Broncos and the Dolphins. I think giving the Dolphins the home advantage would be showing them a little bit of favouritism there. So I would say have the Broncos, their new rivals, be the home team against the new club, the Dolphins, on Friday, 7:30 at Suncorp. Be a great game. The Broncos, they finished in ninth this year. The Dolphins, they're added to the Queensland team, and the Queensland teams, other than the Cowboys, really struggled to make the 8 last year. Only the Cowboys managed to do it. The Broncos held on towards the end, but let it slip. So interesting game, and obviously a new inclusion of that club, the Broncos and the Dolphins. Moving into the Saturday game at 3 p.m. For Super Saturday would kick off at 3 p.m. for me, and I would go the Knights and the Dragons at Newcastle. Two teams that you probably don't expect too much from either of these sides, but the Knights need to have a much better home record. Why not give them a home game to start it? They played an away game against the Roosters in round 1 last year. So for me, Knights versus Dragons, I think it'd be a decent game of footy at 3 o'clock. I think a really good game for this one is the Cowboys and the Titans. You've got both Queensland, or all 4 Queensland teams playing each other in the first week. You've got the Titans, who came off a better end to the season than we expected. And then you've got the Cowboys, who were the surprise packet of the year, bowing out in a prelim. They deserve to play at home in round 1, in my opinion, after the season they had. In a 5:30 Saturday game, I think you get a really good crowd on a Saturday night, 5:30, Cowboys versus the Gold Coast. Moving into the Saturday 7:30 game, it won't happen, but we all want it to happen. The grand final rematch. Give me Panthers versus Eels, and let's take it to Penrith. They talk about being unbeaten there. Parramatta beat them, Melbourne beat them. They've obviously shown some cockiness, but at the same time, you have to allow them to celebrate, and they have done a great job at celebrating, but some of the things that have been said, some of the things that have been done by some of the players, you know who, are very questionable. So give me the Panthers against the Eels. A few players have left both clubs. No Kick-Out, no Api Coruscant, no Marnie, no Papali'i. So it'll be a really interesting matchup and just great to see a grand final rematch as well. 2 p.m. on Sunday, we got 3 games now, so I'm assuming it's 2, 4, and 6. That's what I've gone with for my format. Give me the West's Tigers at Campbelltown. Let's give the Tigers a game at Campbelltown to open the season up against the Manly Sea Eagles. The Sea Eagles and they're in hot water with the situation with Des Hasler. Jason Saab has recently re-signed with the club, so great news there for Manly. But give me the Tigers and the Sea Eagles at 2 p.m. Bit of an game. Give me a 4 o'clock thriller at Accor Stadium, and I think this could be close to, I think it'd be a big crowd. I reckon you get about 25,000 here on a Sunday at 4 o'clock opener. Rabbitohs versus Sharks. We saw it in the final. I reckon Rabbitohs versus Sharks. We also saw a great game between them last year, 21 points to 20. A great way to start the year for South Sydney, getting a home game at Accor. I know there's talks of them moving to Allianz for a few games, but I think they'll play at Accor for the most part this year. And Cronulla had a great season, but I'd love to see them play an away game to start off round 1, which I think they did, to be honest, last year as well against the Raiders, which they lost. Let's move into the next game, and it is the 6 p.m. game. Now, I am going to say that the Warriors are going to be the team that I'm going to give the bye. The Warriors have had a few home games. It's going to be really interesting to see if multiple teams get a bye or how it all works next season. There's obviously 17 teams, which makes it tougher. So I'm going to say the Warriors don't play in round 1. And in the final game at 6 p.m, give me the Raiders at Canberra. Give me the Raiders up against the Bulldogs. The Raiders beat the Storm and advanced to week 2 of the final. Had a great run towards the end of the season. Secured a final spot. Deserve a home game in my opinion. And then you've got the new look Bulldogs of Kick-Out, Marnie. There's other names. There's just everyone's going to the Bulldogs, aren't they? But Raiders, Bulldogs, 6 o'clock Canberra. I think it would be a great game. So there you have it, guys. That is my predictions. Or not predictions, but if I was in charge of the NRL opening round, these are the games I'd put. I think that Broncos-Dolphins game is a very high possibility of being on a Friday night, a Broncos home game. Rabbitohs and Sharks, I would love to see that being played out in round 1, and I think it'd be a great opener for the Roosters and the Storm. I would absolutely be there, and if it is in Sydney, I will probably be at the NRL opener. But guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, plenty of content coming out in the next few days, and I'll see you guys later.